All right, I want to talk about the trade deadline because it's next Thursday, and I'm
Yep.
beginning to see people worry that this might not be a very explosive trade deadline, Andrew. You know, the updates we're getting don't feel like things are moving. Just this morning, Jake Fisher put out his latest article, and the title was "This Year's NBA Trade Market Hindered by a Lack of Significant Activity." Not what you want to hear, Andrew. The
No.
big names are guys like Zach LaVine, DeJounte Murray, where it's not exactly clear that they are valued enough by the rest of the league to warrant an appropriate offer. The teams who would be the most likely to trade, like the Lakers and Warriors, they've been so underwhelming. They've fallen so far behind in the West that you wonder if they'll even bother trading assets for what might be a hopeless second half run.
Yeah.
We keep hearing how there aren't a lot of sellers this deadline. And so, to give our listeners a little bit of hope going into next week, I just wanted to review some trade deadline history. So the NBA has had a trade deadline since 1947, but can you imagine waking up on trade deadline day in 1947 just psyched to see what the Providence Steamrollers or whatever are going to do?
Because you'd find out in the newspaper,
Yeah, like 2 days later probably. But they've only kept official records since 1987, which you can find on NBA.com. Looking through those early years, it's kind of amazing to see how few trades got done at the deadline. Because you always hear like a certain segment of NBA fans complain that another segment of fans don't care about the games anymore. You've heard this. They only care about trades and transactions. Back in my day, fans actually watched the games and liked basketball. Listen, I get that the explosion of social media and sports media has influenced the obsession with trades, but also looking at some of these deadline deals, there was nothing to talk about. In the 9 seasons from 1987 to 1995, there were 6 trade deadlines where only 1 or 2 trades were made.
Wow.
1 or 2.
Wow.
Andrew, can you imagine being Shams back in the 1980s? You'd be out of a job. Nothing to talk about.
Absolutely no slop for all
slop.
He's out there.
Imagine being Shams Charania in 1987. You're trying to get people excited about the Cavs trading Ben Poquet to the Bulls in exchange for a future second-round pick, the only trade that happened at the deadline that season. No one is retweeting that on the internet that didn't exist in 1987. Ben Poquet, Andrew, full name, Benedict J. Poquet, a.k.a. Gentle Ben, according to Basketball Reference. 27th all-time in NBA history for most personal fouls in a season.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the one cool fact I learned about Ben Poquet. To put all this into context, in those 9 seasons from 1987 to 1995, there were 37 players traded in total on all those deadline days combined. Just last season at the deadline, 49 players were traded, basically 10% of the league.
Wow.
And it's really fun to see how deadline day has changed over time. So from 1987 to 2009, that's 22 seasons. There was only one deadline day, which was 2005, where at least 8 trades were made. And on average, we got fewer than 4 trades per deadline day. But since 2010, however, we haven't had a single deadline day with fewer than 8 trades. And in recent years, the number just keeps going up. Since 2018, we've gotten 12, 14, 11, 16, 10, and 12 trades. 226 players traded just on deadline day alone over those 6 seasons. More than half of the league involved in every one of those deadline days. We truly live in an age of slop, Andrew. And so, if it feels like the insiders have got you down, the rumors aren't hitting as hard, the scuttlebutt is lacking juice, just know that next Thursday, we are getting double-digit trades. There is a 50% chance your favorite team will be involved. So do not fear, the slop is near.